Hello students, welcome to my channel Hallabool Physics. Okay, today's topic is now faulty thermometer. Now question is arising here, what does it mean by faulty thermometer? Faulty thermometer is the thermometer in which lower fixed point is different than 0 degrees Celsius. Lower fixed point is different than 0 degree Celsius and upper fixed point is different than 100 degree Celsius. So faulty thermometer is the thermometer in which lower fixed point different than 0 degree Celsius and upper fixed point is different than 100 degree Celsius on centigrade scale. Yes, I have taken two diagrams on the board now here. This is the diagram of correct scale. Here is the diagram of faulty scale. This is lower fixed point on correct scale. Here is the lower fixed point on faulty scale. Now this is the upper fixed point on correct scale. Here is the upper fixed point on faulty scale. At the same height, here reading is X and here is reading Y. At the same height, here reading is X, here reading is Y. Now one important statement will now be helpful here. Which statement we discussed in a class previously. Length of all scales are same. Length of all scales are same. So length of this scale is equal to length of this scale. That concept we can apply here now. So if the length of all scales are same, upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on correct scale, that will be equal to upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. So we can write now upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on correct scale, that is equal to upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. So we are applying the concept in a class here for the same length. Upper minus lower fixed point on correct scale is equal to upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. Now again we can take here for the same length, here is reading X, here is reading Y. So for the same length, X minus lower fixed point on correct scale, that must be equal to Y minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. So we can take it now, X minus lower fixed point on correct scale, that is equal to Y minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. Two important relations we are developing in a class here with the help of one statement here, which is statement length of all scales are same. Length of all scales are same. So for the same length, length of correct scale is equal to length of faulty scale. For the same length, X minus lower fixed point on correct scale is equal to Y minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. This is supposed to be taken as relation number 1 and this is taken as a relation number 2. Now dividing these two relations, suppose 2 divided by 1. Suppose 2 divided by 1. So 2 divided by 1. What is 2 divided by 1? Yes, X minus lower fixed point. X minus lower fixed point on correct scale divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on correct scale. That is equal to Y minus lower fixed point on incorrect scale or faulty scale divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. So that relation we are developing in a class now, X minus lower fixed point on correct scale by upper minus lower fixed point on correct scale is equal to Y minus lower fixed point on faulty scale by upper minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. So this is a very important relation we have developed in a class here. This is the relation by which we can convert faulty reading into correct reading. Is the relation by which we can convert faulty reading into correct reading. Okay, now we can discuss few questions related to the faulty thermometer. First question is on the board here. A faulty thermometer has its lower fixed point and upper fixed point marked at 5 degrees Celsius and 95 degrees Celsius. This thermometer reads the temperature of a body 59 degree Celsius. Then the correct temperature on the centigrade scale is. Yes, one relation we discussed in a class here. Yes, x minus lower fixed point on correct scale divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on correct scale. That must be equal to y minus lower fixed point on faulty scale divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. So this relation will now be helpful to give the answer of our question now here. That relation we already derived previously in a class here. Yes, lower fixed point on faulty scale. Yes, this is nothing but as 5 degrees Celsius. Upper fixed point on faulty scale is 95 degree Celsius. This thermometer reads the temperature of a body as 59 degrees Celsius. Which thermometer reads? Faulty thermometer. So faulty thermometer reads the temperature of a body 59 degree Celsius. So this is nothing but as y. Then the reading on the correct centigrade scale is, means x is asking. What is asking? X. So x is required minus lower fixed point on correct scale means centigrade scale. On centigrade scale lower fixed point is 0 divided by upper fixed point on correct scale is 100 minus lower fixed point on correct scale is centigrade scale is 0. That is equal to reading on faulty scale is 59 minus lower fixed point on faulty scale is 5. Upper fixed point on faulty scale is 95 minus lower fixed point on faulty scale is 5. After solving this relation, you will get the value of x. It will come 60 degree Celsius. Okay, now the next question here, there are two thermometers x and y have ice points marked at 15 and 25 degrees Celsius and the steam points marked at 75 and 125 degrees Celsius respectively. If thermometer X measures the temperature of a bath 60 degrees Celsius, then the temperature measured by thermometer Y of the same bath is. Now this question is related to the two scales. One scale is X, another scale is Y. So one side we can use X scale, another side we can use Y scale. Yes, what will be the valid relation here now? X minus lower fixed point on X scale divided by upper fixed point on X scale minus lower fixed point on X scale is equal to Y minus lower fixed point on Y scale divided by upper fixed point on Y scale minus lower fixed point on Y scale. So this is the relation by which we can solve our question. Now data are given, we can solve our question here. X is the reading on X scale. What does it mean by this? X is the reading on X scale. So what is reading on X scale is given 60 degree Celsius. So X is equal to 60 minus lower fixed point on X scale is 15 degree Celsius divided by upper fixed point on X scale is 75 degree Celsius minus lower fixed point on X scale is 15 is equal to then the reading of thermometer Y of the same bath is. So Y is asking lower fixed point on Y scale is 25 degree Celsius divided by upper fixed point on Y scale is 125 degree Celsius minus lower fixed point on Y scale is 25. Now solving this relation, you will get the value of Y. Y will come 100 degree Celsius. Okay, one more question now. A thermometer has wrong calibration. It reads the melting point of ice minus 10 degree Celsius. This thermometer reads 60 degrees Celsius in place of 50 degree Celsius. Then the boiling point of the water on this scale is. Now question is again related to the faulty scale or faulty thermometer. First we can write the relation x minus lower fixed point on correct scale divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on correct scale that is equal to y minus lower fixed point on faulty scale divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point on faulty scale. So this relation will now be helpful to solve our question. Now we can check the question again. A thermometer has wrong calibration. Means thermometer is a faulty thermometer. This thermometer reads the melting point of ice is minus 10 degrees Celsius. So what does it mean by this here minus 10 degrees Celsius? Is the lower fixed point on faulty scale. Is the lower fixed point on faulty scale. So this value is minus 10 degree Celsius. This thermometer reads 60 degrees Celsius in place of 50 degrees Celsius. This thermometer reads 60 degrees Celsius means which thermometer reads 60 degrees Celsius? Faulty thermometer. So y is equal to given 60. Y is equal to 60 in place of 50 degrees Celsius. So x is equal to 50. So this thermometer reads 60 degrees Celsius in place of 50 degrees Celsius. So 60 means y and 50 means x. Then the boiling point of the water on this scale is on which scale? Faulty scale. Boiling point is nothing but as upper fixed point. Boiling point is nothing but as upper fixed point. So upper fixed point on faulty scale is required. We can put the data now here. X is equal to given 50 minus lower fixed point on correct scale is the centigrade scale. Its lower fixed point is 0 divided by upper fixed point is 100 minus lower fixed point is 0 is equal to y is equal to 60 minus lower fixed point on faulty scale is minus 10. Upper fixed point is required minus 10. Now solve this relation. You will get your answer. Upper fixed point equal to 130 degree Celsius.